All right, today we're diving into a project called Pandora and its wild new technology, Echo. It's built on a pretty radical idea about where the internet is headed. And you know what? It all starts with the very browser you're using to watch this.
So just think about this for a second. What if your browser, this window you're looking at, wasn't just a way to see the web, but was actually part of its engine room? I mean, what if you could help power the entire network just by keeping a tab open? Sounds crazy, right? Well, guess what? This isn't some far-off sci-fi idea. Project Echo from the folks at Pandora just went live on Mainnet, and it's designed to do exactly that. It literally turns one of your browser tabs from something passive into an active piece of a decentralized network. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with this big idea, a backend in your browser. Then we'll get into what Project Echo actually is and, why it's such a big deal. After that, we'll talk about how you can run your own node, and we'll finish up with the latest project updates and what's next.
All right, first up, this whole idea of a backend in your browser. This is the core concept, and it's pretty ambitious. It really gets to the heart of what the Pandora team is trying to do.
This quote right here, it just says it all. It shows you how big they're thinking. They're not just building another app. Nope. They're building a foundational layer, a decentralized backend that other projects can just plug right into. I mean, imagine an internet where the infrastructure isn't owned by a few huge companies, but is actually supported by the people using it. That is the vision here. Okay, so that's the big picture, the vision. But what is Project Echo, in technical terms? Let's break it down.
So at its heart, Echo is what's called a Layer 2 solution, and it's built on the Cardano network. The magic words here are active participants. The whole point is to change us from just being passive users into people who are actually helping to run the network.
I know, Layer 2 can sound super techy, but the highway analogy is perfect. Think of the main Cardano blockchain as this massive, super secure highway. Well, EXO is like a brand new express toll lane built right next to it. It handles a ton of traffic way faster and cheaper. But here's the kicker. It's still protected by all the security of the main highway. You really get the best of both worlds, speed and security.
So these three things are what make Echo really unique. First off, it runs right in your browser. That's a huge deal for making it easy for anyone to use. Second, like we said, it gets all its security from Cardano. And third, it's a modular consensus layer. That's another fancy term, but just think of it like a universal Lego block for security. Other apps can just snap it on to make sure everyone on their network agrees on what's true. It's super clever. Okay, so it's definitely clever tech, but why is it a big deal? Why should you care? What does this actually make possible? Well, here's why. Echo is what you'd call foundational tech. It's not the final product, it's the engine that's going to power other next-gen apps. A perfect example? There's a project called Sailfish, and it uses something called non-custodial Hydra. Yeah, sounds complicated, I know. But the key thing is, Echo is what makes it all work. So what the heck is non-custodial Hydra? Think of it like a private, high-speed VIP lane, just for you and your friends. The Hydra part means it's incredibly fast. And the non-custodial part? That's the most important bit. It means you never have to give your money to some third party to hold on to. You are always 100% in control of your own funds. It's all about speed without giving up your security.
And here's where it all clicks together. Echo is the technology that lets your browser become one of the participants securing these high-speed channels. So by running an Echo node, you are directly helping to provide the security that an app like Sailfish needs to function. Think about that. You're not just a user anymore. You are the infrastructure.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, but how do you actually get involved? Let's talk about running your own node.
So to get started as a node operator, you'll need 5 Pandora Pioneer NFTs. That's kind of the ticket to get in. This requirement is really just to help manage the network's growth and how rewards are handled, especially in these early days. And getting set up is actually surprisingly easy. You just go to the website, stake your 5 Pioneer NFTs, and click Register Node. And that's basically it. Just leave that browser tab open, and boom, your node is contributing to the network, and you're earning rewards. This is decentralization made about as easy as it gets. Now, obviously, a whole network can't run only on browser tabs, right? Especially not at the very beginning. So to make sure everything is stable, Pandora is also working with some established projects and community members to run more powerful server-based nodes. This just creates a really strong backbone for the network while the community of browser nodes keeps growing.
And this project is definitely not a launch it and leave it kind of thing. It's evolving fast. So let's check out the momentum they've already built up and some of the improvements they've made.
I mean, right out of the gate, the community response has been awesome. There are already over 100 nodes registered and running on Mainnet. That's a really fantastic sign of early adoption and shows people are buying into this vision.
And it's super clear the team is listening to feedback. Originally, you needed 10 of those Pioneer NFTs, and that was a bit steep for some folks. So what did they do? They cut it in half, down to 5. That makes it way more accessible for more people to jump in and run a node. They've also been shipping some really nice quality of life updates. For instance, you can now run multiple nodes from just one browser. They've also tackled some annoying wallet disconnect issues, and they've totally revamped their website and documentation. You can tell they are just in full-on build mode right now. And it's not all just serious tech work, which is cool. They're also having fun and building a real culture. The announcement ended with this fun little teaser about money frogs and how egg hatching season is almost here for node operators. It's just a great, playful way to keep everyone engaged.
So what's the big takeaway here? The most important thing to remember is that Echo isn't just some idea on a white paper. It's live. It's working right now. And it's empowering its community to literally become the co-builders of a more decentralized web together. And that really just leaves us with a fascinating question to think about. When you make web infrastructure this accessible, this radical, what new things become possible? What could you build if the backbone of your app was powered by the very people using it? That's the future Pandora is inviting us all to start building.